Alright, so Fate Strange Fake may have the potential to be Anime of the Year. This episode was on another level entirely with one of the best Fate fights we've gotten in a very, very long time. Plus, we even got to see Waver react to seeing Gilgamesh after so long, which is actually something I've waited on ever since I first saw Fate Zero and found out that he is still a central figure in the series as an adult. There really is honestly so much to talk about with this episode, so let's jump in. We pick up from episode 2 and we see an old man who apologizes for thrusting Flatt upon Waver, who is accompanied by Gray. I actually don't know who this character is and I feel like I should, so someone in the comments please remind me, please, and be gentle. The older gentleman asks Waver what he plans to do with Flatt, and of course, he'd love to say it's not his problem. After all, Flatt is basically, like his name implies, someone with a brain that is literally flat. Like a piece of loose leaf paper, kind of flat. But he reassures him because since he is still a student of his, despite his dumbassery, he's still going to watch over and protect Flatt. But he then says that something about this Grail War is strange, as if it hasn't began yet, which got a chin rub out of me. So we switch perspectives back to a freshly pissed off Jester, who just had his nice suit ruined by Hanza's coffee. He mentions that he thought the church wouldn't be involved in this Holy Grail War, and as he goes to speak, Hanza somehow has more coffee left in his cup, or maybe even had a second one, which honestly, I choose to believe he had 2 cups of coffee prepared just because he wanted to rage bait everyone with like, oh wait, watch out, Hanza's got the cup of lukewarm coffee, he's a loose cannon. But I love this man's defiance by calling Jester a corpse, because that is what he is after all. He's a dead apostle. He even tells Jester to slurp coffee instead of the blood of humans. It's got me cracking up. I mean, this man, I don't know who he is, and I am clearly not familiar with his game, but what I do know is I love him, and please, for the love of God, put him in every Fate anime for the rest of time. So Jester goes quite literally insane as he laughs and yells that this is just the coffee they're giving out for free at the information desk. So is this implying that Jester would stop drinking blood if he only could find coffee he could pay for? Dude, I have so many recommendations, like Four Sigmatic, Cafe Bustelo, Everyday Dose, man. I can literally hook this man up. I am one with the coffee devil and she is my wife. So he throws the chair at Hanza, which he kicks up and into the ceiling with this insane force. Now this distracts Jester, so Hanza moves in to punch him, and he does, blowing him back. He then passes up Orlando, he's just like, yeah bro, I got you. And then tells him not to say anything about the coffee, for he fears being scolded by the God damn! This was just the first 2 minutes of this episode, and I'm hooked! I don't quite remember, honestly, I'm being truthful here. I do not remember Fate being this hilarious while also being this dramatic and action-packed all at the same time. I feel so refreshed whenever I watch an episode of Fate Strange Fake. And this episode this one was special. This was something. This is really working well for me. I think this has been the best opening to a Fate anime I maybe have ever seen, but you know, I have to go back and think about that more before making a definitive statement. Jester says that he let his guard down as he realizes this is what they call hubris. So Hanza tells him this is what being called humble is called, as he effortlessly blocks all of the debris thrown at him. Jester throws his shirt at him, which then allows him to use it as a kind of like a visual cover to attack Hanza hand to hand, and I gotta say, I missed those knuckle swords. It's the dumbest way to ever fight, but it is so ridiculous that every time I see it, I can't help but think it's the coolest thing ever, and of course, it reminds me of the first time I discovered Tsukihime. Still though, CL with knuckle swords is probably the best. However, I think Hanza already is gunning for top place with me, and it's only been like 1 second since he's drawn them. Jester falls back to remind Hanza that defeating him means abandoning his neutrality as overseer. To which Hanza is like, really? I didn't hear any of that. And also, didn't that pretty lady hate you so much? I'm not so sure you're a master. God, I love him. He is such a smartass. I love him so much. He is the best. So upon hearing this, he retorts that That is the beauty of it, meaning I guess he loves women who hate his guts, to which I say, honestly, he doesn't deserve assassin, and I'm gonna go as far to say that I will in turn take the bullet and become her master. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it, guys. I know. It's gonna be a hard undertaking, but I think I can pull through. They continue fighting because, of course, and it is so fun, but also has some of the most insane animation I've seen from Fate in such a long time. The fight breaks out into the streets, where Tinya and Gil get involved and observe that Jester is not a servant and that Hanza is quite unique in that he's not giving up his body and autonomy for his god, which is interesting. That seems to imply that Hanza can act relatively on his own compared to others within the church, which does explain why he is already making himself such a permanent entity within the Grail War already. My editor David, who is the Fate guru in my circle and knows way too much about this series, more so than even I do, he mentioned something along the lines that people of the church, their job is to basically get rid of monsters like dead apostles, to which Jester is. Now, it's been a while since I've read Tsukihime, so I'm a little rusty. However, if that is the case, then that must conflict with the Grail War. Hanza cannot act out his job to exterminate dead apostles if one such master is one, or can he? I mean, he's literally attacking him right now and trying to seemingly kill him, so does this really even matter? Well, anyways, Jester throws car after car with some immensely insane animation that woke me up faster than coffee in the sunrise in the morning. Hanza throws 3 blades, 2 hits his hands, and the third, Jester catches with his mouth. Just really cool stuff here, and I really cannot express enough how awesome everything so far is. So we finally get our explanation to why Hanza is interfering. Simply put, as an overseer from the church, he cannot allow a vampire to get a hold of the Holy Grail. So that clears that up, I suppose, and Jester is like, why? Why fuck me? What did I do? And Hanza basically says that this kind killed his entire community and family, but even then he holds no grudge. Because it doesn't matter what Jester has done or hasn't, his mere existence is a stain. He's basically saying that there is no prejudice or personal reasons, just that dead apostles need to die and be eliminated, which I can respect that. That's got some Freerin the Slayer vibes going on, and I dig it. So viewer, not sure how this is possible, but the episode got even better. Jester attacks Hanza in a circle of fire, but Hanza uses his arm to sever the fingers and block Jester's attack. Hanza explains that 70% of his body is made up of mechanical parts. Eventually, the fight is taken to the top of an office building where, for some reason, Jester has automatic submachine guns. Now, I don't know why, but seeing guns in Fate is so weird to me. Even though it's like in every series, I don't know why. It's just I always see them and I go, huh, that's weird. I don't know. Either way, Hanza blocks the gunfire. Jester then suggests that he may be a part of this rumored group called the Burial Agency. Now, Hanza has great respect for them and states that to be compared to them is a violation because they kill things such as godlike beings and he is not to that level. So there is a great reverence and respect for them amongst the church. So for Hanza to be offended as to even think he is on their level shows the respect this group commands. However, Jester bids adieu until Hanza uses the noob tube and blasts his ass into a building below. Now in the building, the kid is the only one alive, and it is so clear that this is Jester who simply changed his form. And so he calls up his girls and tells them to prepare. Now, viewer. They are literally dressed in maid outfits, in particular 2B's outfit from the video game Nier Automata, which is great, and let me tell you something. This is the kind of man I strive to be in life, and I know I can never reach. We switch perspectives to Ayaka and Seba, who meet one of these 2B maids, which is, it's 2B. She stops them to inform them they are checking the surrounding area for suspicious peoples. This is where we learn the church is trying to cover up the evidence of a dead apostle appearing here, and if you don't know already, you do now, because dead apostles are Fate's versions of vampires introduced primarily in Lunar Legend Tsukihime. The 2B lady then tells them to come to the central church when they have the time, as Hanza has something he needs to talk about with the masters. She tells 2B that she is not a master and is overwhelmed, not really knowing what to do in this situation, which is when we run into the gas station attendant and his group of punk rock friends. I assume what is going to happen here is that Ayaka and Seba are going to use their connections with these group of people to basically get to some sort of point they need to get to. Now back with Orlando and his gang of very hot and capable women, we see the toll of the battle, which has resulted in several injuries. We focus on John Wingard, who really has a chip on his shoulder and something to prove, but Orlando, being the older and more wise of them, suggests he stay back, get a prosthetic, and learn how to fight after he recovers from his injuries. This is a very important note for Orlando, because it seems that even after a fight that hit morale, that he is still strong and capable, which is good because their leader is someone who, even after everyone else is rattled, can still be there to lead them. In turn, that strengthens their bond as a unit, and I would presume that they likely trust him with their, well, lives even more after this. Castor calls him up to tell him he's got a package from Shishigo, which will kill apparently any vampire, and we don't know who Shishigo is at all. And he will make it for Wingard to use, using the Hydra poison dagger as a base. And now he plans to head to the church because he has a feeling they are going to start the other war. That was a weird line. Maybe I misread it. Who knows? Oh, the alarm. The alarm's gotta go off, doesn't it? Always gotta go off during a video. Back with 2B, who is keeping a watchful eye on the area, the boy who was clearly Jester makes his escape. We then focus on Flatt, who is dumb. This here reveals that he was the one not hypnotized and still retains pictures of things like the Dead Apostle and other such fascinating adventures, I'm sure. Which I am so very sure will come in handy very soon, by the way. Waver and the man review all of the information they have thus far, which shows Snowfield has an abnormal swell in magical energy, which means there are more servants that are now being summoned. And I thought we were done, but apparently we are not. Flatt tells Jack that he wants to tell him about everything, especially how strange this city is and all of the magic being used. He also has a picture of another servant he got from the police station. Jack makes a comment that Flatt is dumb, yet oddly dependable and well-thinking. He explains that as a kid, there weren't many who'd scold him to his face, only a few. These were his professor, his little sister, who is a princess, everyone in his class, and the alumni, to which Jack points out that's quite a few people to do that. I love Flatt. He's so chaotic. It's great. But Waver and the old man see him and just facepalm, which is when they get a text from him showing off his heroic spirit, Berserker. He then shows a picture of Gil in the back of a car and asks how to befriend them, which of course this is Waver, whose heroic spirit in Fate Zero was killed by Gil when he was a mega butthead, which it seems like he still is, because he suggests to Tinye that he kill all of the mongrels in the city because it makes no difference to him. She obviously doesn't want any of that to happen. I mean, also as well, she's Native American, so, yeah. And the fact that she's a small child with a consciousness too. But even so, Gil actually respects this response, as he says, doubt is the foundation by which you break through blind faith, which is to say that he was pretty much joking as everyone else is confused, but I guess relieved? And this is when it's revealed that there will be even more masters that will be summoned in this war, and one of the servant proceeds to do so, and we see Tinya may actually be in danger as it's an archer fires at her. Gilgamesh is not going to be happy about any of this. This episode was absolutely phenomenal from front to back. I think what I love the most about this series is we may finally see Waver interact with Gilgamesh, just to address what happened back then in Fate Zero. It's one of the most consistent aspects of his character even now, so I hope we do see them interact. Otherwise, guys, I think we're cooking again. Fate Strange Fake seems to be everything we want out of a new Fate anime, and it is bringing a lot of energy back. This episode wowed me the most with the Hanza and Jester fight. It was so entertaining, even if they didn't get to pull out all the stops here. I also love that he makes his maids wear 2B outfits. It's just so dumb, but it's also so right. And the creator of Nier probably already loves this series for it. I mean, he probably has read everything on Fate already. He seems like a guy to do that. Either way, an amazing episode, and I think this has potential to actually be what I thought it could. An anime to rival some of the best Fate anime we've seen, and maybe possibly Freerun Season 2. Check out my next Fate Strange Fake video here. If you need to get caught up, I've left a playlist here as well. Also, join my Discord. Make it a great day or not, the choice is yours.